Imagine this. Every year, more than 1.3 million people globally are victims of intentional homicide. That's more than the population of many cities. This unsettling truth is a stark reminder of the dark side of humanity, a facet often hidden behind the veil of civility and social norms. This video aims to shed light on the shocking statistics that reveal the extent of human cruelty, focusing predominantly on intentional homicide rates worldwide. The gravity of this issue is immense, with the ripple effects reaching far beyond the immediate victims. It's a topic that's uncomfortable yet necessary to confront. As we journey through this exploration, remember our goal is not to instill fear, but to foster understanding and promote change. This is just the tip of the iceberg. Let's delve deeper into the dark side of humanity. Ever wonder what goes on in the mind of someone capable of extreme cruelty? Brace yourselves. Our journey into the abyss begins with understanding the psychological aspects of human cruelty. It's a complex web of factors that lead people to act with such harshness, and it's far from a one-size-fits-all explanation. Let's break it down. At the heart of cruelty often lies a lack of empathy. It's this inability to understand and share the feelings of others that allows some individuals to inflict pain without batting an eye. They simply don't comprehend the suffering they're causing, and in some cases, they may even derive pleasure from it. This is not just a chilling characteristic, but a dangerous one, as it can lead to ruthlessness and brutality. Then there's dehumanization. This is when people view others as less than human, making it easier for them to justify their cruel actions. It's a psychological trick that's been used throughout history, from the horrors of slavery to the atrocities of war. By stripping away the humanity of their victims, cruel individuals can distance themselves from the pain they cause. And let's not forget about power dynamics. When people feel they have power over others, it can lead to a sense of entitlement and superiority. This can result in cruelty, as they believe their actions are justified or even necessary. It's a dark side of authority that's been seen time and time again, from schoolyard bullies to oppressive regimes. It's important to note that understanding these factors is not about excusing cruel behavior, but rather about shedding light on it. The more we understand about the psychology behind cruelty, the better equipped we are to recognize it, challenge it, and ultimately prevent it. Understanding the mind of a cruel person can be disturbing, yet enlightening. So let's continue our journey as we explore the historical instances of cruelty and its impact on our society. History is witness to man's capacity for cruelty. Let's take a grim walk down memory lane. Time and again, humanity has proven that it possesses a dark side, a side that is capable of unimaginable cruelty. Instances of this cruelty are peppered throughout our history in every corner of the globe. Let's start with the genocides. The Holocaust, orchestrated by Adolf Hitler during World War II, resulted in the systematic extermination of 6 million Jews. It stands as a haunting testament to the depths of human cruelty, but it is not alone. The Armenian genocide, the Rwandan genocide, each a horrifying chapter in the tale of mankind. Then there are the wars. The 2 world wars alone account for over 70 million deaths. The trenches of World War I, the bombings of World War II, each a stark picture of the violence humans are capable of inflicting upon one another. And let's not forget the dictatorships. From Stalin's reign of terror in the Soviet Union to Pol Pot's brutal Khmer Rouge regime in Cambodia, history is littered with leaders who use their power to inflict pain and suffering on their people. These dictatorships, fueled by a toxic blend of power and cruelty, have left indelible scars on the pages of history. Even today, we see echoes of this past cruelty. The Syrian civil war, the Rohingya crisis in Myanmar, the ongoing conflicts in Yemen and South Sudan, all serve as grim reminders that the capacity for cruelty is still very much alive in the human race. What makes these instances of cruelty so chilling is their scale and systematic nature. They were not random acts of violence, but carefully orchestrated campaigns of terror and oppression. They serve as stark reminders of what we as a species are capable of when empathy and compassion are cast aside. History, it seems, has a cruel way of repeating itself. The ripple effects of cruelty are far-reaching and devastating. These aren't just hollow words. They reflect the harsh reality of how human cruelty impacts societies on multiple levels. Let's begin with the psychological aspect. Cruelty in any form can cause profound psychological damage to those subjected to it. This isn't limited to the direct victims. Witnessing an act of cruelty can trigger a range of emotions, from fear and disgust to anger and despair. Over time, these emotions can lead to mental health issues such as depression, anxiety, and post-traumatic stress disorder, but it doesn't stop there. The emotional harm caused by cruelty can seep into the fabric of communities, creating a climate of mistrust and fear. It can erode the sense of safety and security that is essential for a community to thrive. People may become wary of their neighbors, hesitant to form connections, or scared to speak out against injustices. Cruelty can also cause physical harm. This isn't just about the immediate physical injuries that acts of cruelty may inflict. The stress and anxiety caused by living in a cruel environment can lead to a host of health problems, from heart disease to weakened immune systems. On a broader scale, cruelty can lead to social unrest and violence. When cruelty becomes normalized or goes unpunished, it can breed resentment and anger, sparking conflicts and even wars. Even more concerning is the cyclical nature of cruelty. Those who experience or witness cruelty are more likely to become perpetrators themselves, perpetuating a vicious cycle of harm and suffering. But let's not forget the most insidious impact of cruelty, the way it can dehumanize us. When we allow cruelty to persist, we risk losing our empathy and compassion, the very traits that make us human. Cruelty leaves scars not just on individuals but on societies as a whole. It's a sobering thought, isn't it? But it's essential to remember, for only by acknowledging the impact of cruelty can we begin to fight against it. Despite the darkness, there's a glimmer of hope. The fight against cruelty is real and ongoing. In the face of human cruelty, there are individuals, organizations, and societies that have risen to challenge it. These are the unsung heroes who refuse to turn a blind eye, who stand up and say no more. Consider the story of Malala Yousafzai, a young Pakistani girl who, despite being shot by the Taliban for advocating for girls' education, continued her fight. Today she is a Nobel laureate, using her voice to empower girls worldwide. Her courage and resilience are a testament to the human spirit's potential to combat cruelty. Then there are organizations like Amnesty International and Human Rights Watch. These bodies relentlessly shine a light on human rights abuses, campaigning tirelessly to bring perpetrators to justice. Their work, often carried out in challenging and dangerous circumstances, is a beacon of hope for those suffering from cruelty. And we see countries making strides too. For instance, in the past few decades, many nations have outlawed corporal punishment in schools, recognizing the long-term psychological harm it can cause. This is a significant step towards institutionalizing kindness and empathy rather than cruelty. Even in our everyday lives, we see people standing up against cruelty. From standing up against bullies in schools to reporting cases of domestic violence, these everyday heroes remind us that we all have a role to play in this fight. In the face of cruelty, resilience and courage can blossom. It's not about grand gestures, but rather the small acts of kindness and compassion that we all can do. We can all be a part of this fight by speaking out against injustice, by supporting those who are suffering, and by fostering empathy and understanding in our communities. Despite the bleak picture that human cruelty paints, these stories of resistance and resilience inspire hope. They prove that cruelty is not an inherent part of our nature, but a behavior that can and must be challenged. Every step against cruelty, no matter how small, is a step towards a kinder world. As we conclude this journey into the dark side of humanity, remember, knowledge is power. We've delved into the unsettling truth of human cruelty, its psychological underpinnings, its historical instances, and its profound impact on society. We've seen that cruelty is not merely an abstract concept, but a tangible force that shapes our world and our experiences within it. But it's not all doom and gloom. We've also explored the fight against cruelty, the efforts made by ordinary people and organizations to combat this menace and bring about change. Understanding this dark aspect of humanity is crucial, not to instill fear, but to equip ourselves with the tools and knowledge to challenge it. It's a call to empathy, to compassion, and most importantly, to action. Your voice matters. Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to hit the like button if you found this video informative. Together we can shine a light on the dark side of humanity.